Hi everyone, so today for my video I'm just going to do a voiceover. Basically what I do is this is going to be for a custom elephant dreamcatcher. So this is the first one I've actually made, so this is quite like my sort of test run. And now that I have made this, I am going to change quite a few things next time I do one. But I thought I'd show you this process anyway because it's, something different. I've not really filmed myself working before, so I thought I'd give you a glimpse of what the type of thing that I actually do. So I just start off by drawing my outlines. Just gives me an idea of what size I'm going to go for. Sort of lets me think about the shape that I want to do as well and get that in my head. So I just keep going until I like the shape of it, adding in bits here and there. I'll write little notes as well on it, and just to remind myself later of what I've put. I find this quite helpful because I do tend to be quite forgetful with stuff. But that's basically what I do when I do my custom designs and my custom frames. So moving on from the sketch, I've got all my parts bent into shape, and now I just solder them together to create a firm frame. This just means that it's all one piece, and it's really sturdy, so when I'm pulling on it with the string, pulling it tight and stuff, it's not going to bend out of shape and get misshapen. It's going to hold that shape forever. So then basically what I have to do is I have to go around the entire frame and wrap it in whichever colour I'm going to do it in. This takes a really long time, so some of these clips actually were over 20 minutes long, or and then I've sped it all up, so you only have to see a few seconds of it, but for me this actually takes a really long time. Okay, so moving on from that, I just choose which threads I'm going to use for the whole design. Just pick those out of my what would you call it? My stash, I suppose. And then basically this is where the fun part begins, because I get to start making the web. So this is the most time-consuming part of any dreamcatcher. Of course, it's doing the web, because obviously it's made up of loads of little knots over and over again, layer after layer. So basically I go around the whole thing, weaving in and out, and I just change the threads over when I want to change the colours. So next time I do this, I am going to try doing a really colourful one, which I think will be really fun to play with the different tones and creating more dimension with the colours of the threads that I use. So as you can see here, this is where I have changed colour to a lighter thread. So I am going to skip forward throughout the dreamcatcher so that you don't have, 20 minutes of the same thing. But I just thought I'd show you this little bit because you can see where I join it on, and it shows the colour difference between the two really well. Okay, so as you can see here, I finished that other ear off, and then I'm just starting the next one over. So you can't really tell too much on the video because the light's really bright and it's bouncing off the desk, but there is quite a large difference between the tones of greys that I have used within the ears. There's 4 different colours, but it's quite hard to see in the video. I will be posting some pictures onto my social media though, my Instagram and my Facebook, which will both be linked in the description. It'd be great if you could go over there and give them both a follow. That really helps out, and then you get to see everything else that I create too. Okay, so moving on from the ears now, I'm just going to start the tail, not the tail, the trunk. So basically, that with the ears, I thought I'd do it quite a close web, except for around the outside of the ear. And then for the trunk, I actually want to create, I want to sort of replicate a trunk using the thread. So I'm spacing it out a lot further, and then I'm going to weave from one side to the other and straight lines across. And this will just give it the effect of wrinkles like elephants really do have on their trunks. And I just find that this makes the design look way better than if you just did the same knot the whole way around, because adding in these different shapes and gaps, it really sort of brings it to life, as opposed to it all just being one flat same knot pattern the whole way through. So you'll see what I mean in just a second, because I'm just about to start doing the knots around the top, and then I will work my way down the trunk, and I think it actually came out really effective. So as you can see here, this is where I start weaving it across. So this joins both the sides of the web together, and like I say, this is the part where it creates those wrinkles across the trunk. So now I'm just going to start the head of the elephant, which again I am doing a different pattern for the web design. I'm just sort of going with the flow and seeing what feels comfortable really with this part. Just trying to fill it in as well, not as quickly as I can, but as efficiently as I can. So I'm trying to make sure that you can really tell the difference between the face and the ears. And then that also needs to go down into the trunk and also look like it's part of it. So I think it works pretty well. It's slightly tighter than the trunk is, but it's a lot wider than the web is that's on the ears. So I think it breaks it up really well. And I've used a lighter colour, so next to the inside of the ear, which is a really dark toned grey. This one's really light, so it makes it look like it's more forward than the ears are. I think it's quite funny because the clip of me doing the trunk was actually a 20-minute clip, and you only had to watch 2 minutes, I think, of it. So that sort of puts it into perspective of how long these things actually take. So I think in total I was working on this dreamcatcher from start to finish for, it was roughly just shy of 6 hours. So I filled in the trunk off camera, the tusks off camera, but again I did another pattern here. So I hope you can see that every single section's got a different pattern to it, but for the tusks they're basically just weaved from side to side, and I thought it gave it like a really good effect of sort of going downwards. I think if I was going to try this again, then I would probably do some kind of beads in the tusks, maybe some like shiny kind of beads. I don't know, I'm gonna give it a play and see what I come up with. I will change the shape as well, I think, next time I do it, just slightly. And I also think a full body elephant would be pretty cool, so keep an eye out for that. I don't know if I'm going to film another one of these, obviously, because you don't need to see 2 videos of me doing the same thing. But if you did want to see me make any other custom frames, then let me know down below in the comments. Obviously, I'm not going to show you how I make my frames exactly, because you know, this is my business, it's what I do, it's what I love, so I'm not going to give that away. I'm also not going to tell you where I get my supplies from. Obviously, that's, you know, common sense. But I do hope that you enjoy just seeing the whole making process, and you know, seeing how one of these dream catchers do come to life and all the work that goes into them, because it is a lot of work, but I do love it. So now I'm just adding the sort of finishing touches, which is ribbon and feathers. So I've put the feathers on a chain, and what I like to do is put it on the wall and do the last sort of bits like that, because then I can really see how it hangs. So I've added in a couple more feathers. I've taken some feathers off as well and moved them, because I didn't really like the position of them once it was on the wall. And now I'm just adding these really cool coins to the ears. I just thought it gave it like a really sort of, it just seemed a bit more authentic, like a bit more like an Indian kind of elephant. You know how they have all the fancy headrests and things like that on them. So that's what these coins are for. I literally only just got these in today, actually, so I was really excited to use them, hence why I put them on as soon as I could and use them on something as soon as I could. So you'll notice in this final clip that I have added stuff that I didn't do on camera. That's just because it was like a spur of the moment change. It just needed something and I didn't know what it was. So I went away from it for a bit and I spoke to some friends and they helped me figure out what the issues were, and it just needed some colour up top, I think. So I made this headpiece for it. Yeah, it's, you know, it's basically made up with some fabric and some trim, which like beaded trim. I just think it gives it that finishing thing. It's exactly what it needed, but I couldn't see it at first. And if I go back to my original sketch, I had actually I had drawn a design on the front of the head. So this is my point, that I do tend to forget things, but that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you would like to see more, then just let me know down below, and then remember to like and subscribe if you did like this video and you'd like to see more. So that's all from me, and thank you so much for watching.